Yeah, it is as well.
Hello? Did somebody say something?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. I'm looking for a particular deck that I had created some time back. I am not finding that. It would be nice if I can find that. Don't have that. ठीक है. All right, it's 6:30. Let's start off. Okay. So, as I said right in the call we had on Friday, what do we do in this session today?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, what are we going to be doing in this session today? So, we're directly starting off with concepts on data science straight away. What do we do first? How do we get started? Okay. Guys, by the way, I expect everybody, it's a very small class. I want everybody to participate. And the very first thing, let me just start sharing my screens. Let me start by sharing my screen. Where do I find this? Share screen. Entire screen. Share. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yeah, it's visible, sir.
Can see my screen? Okay. Okay, so the very first thing I want everybody to do, and I want you to do it in every class. The very first thing that I want you to do, number one, is leave your cell phone in another room. Leave your mobile phones, mobile devices. When I say phone, it can be your tablet, it can be anything else also, in another room. Yes. How many of you are taking this session on phone? Can you please tell me?
A Gayatri, sir, here. I'm also using a mobile.
I would highly recommend second one. Don't take the course on mobile phone.
We'll be getting the laptop this week.
Just get a laptop.
Yeah.
Don't take the session on mobile devices. because later on, right, you will have programming exercises and other things. I'm expecting you to run those codes along with me while we're working. Yeah, I want you to experiment while we're in the class. I might send you some exercises and I want you to kind of work on those things while we're in the class, right? So those are the things. So I need you not to be on the mobile devices, get a laptop. Why did I say the first part? Leave your mobile devices in another room. Hello? Guys, again, we need it to be interactive. The next 6 months, the one thing that I want everybody to focus on is your communication skills. When somebody asks a question, be proactive and answer. Okay, always have something important to say. That is very, very important.
This is going to be distract our mind.
Yes, no more distractions. Otherwise, half the time people would be on some reels with less than half the attention. I don't want any of that. For us, we have to maximize these 2 hours. Maximize the 2 hours. The 2 hours you're spending here should be part of your learning, right? So maximize your 2 hours. Maximize your time. Always important. So if you're on the reels on the side, you're playing a game on the side, and you're only having half the device, half the attention here, or less than half the attention, and you think that you're going to be using the recordings for these things, not going to happen. So please leave your mobile device in another room. Uh, that is for your own good. Nothing bad is going to happen in those 2 hours. Okay, I can guarantee you that. Okay, please leave your mobile devices in another room. I want your full attention here, and always work with a pen and paper. On the side, I want you to start taking notes. So, for example, whatever I'm writing here, right on the screen, I will convert them into PDFs and I will send it to you. But it won't be good enough. It will not be good enough. Okay, you have to take notes. That's when you will start remembering. That's when you will start focusing. That is where your retention will be the maximum. Okay, always work with a pen and paper. Get a new notebook. Get a couple of pens, get some different colored pens if you need. Okay, do whatever. Start creating proper notes. Start creating things in terms of process maps. Start drawing things. However you would understand your material very well. Please start doing that. These are the things I want you to do every single day. Leave your mobile devices in another room. Start taking the course on a laptop. You want your maximize your time, which means focus completely whatever is happening here. Start working with a pen and paper. Okay, start writing it down in terms of a pen and paper. Start taking your notes. Okay, do not rely on recordings. Please do not rely on recordings. Recordings are there as a fail safe. It's the last point, at the end, if we need, we might go through. I can tell you one thing. If you miss a class and you think that if you're going to through the recording and you will understand it, you will not. Okay, you're going to be wasting the 2 hours and another additional some time, and even then you will not be getting the best part of it. Everyone, once in a while something happened, you're sick or some urgent work came by, fine, on that day you can absolutely go to the recording. And if you did not understand something, you can go to the recording. I will tell you how to use the recordings also. I hope everybody is following me, and I hope nobody has a mobile phone in their hand.
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, please, because those mobile phones are one of the main things that are destroying our lives. There isn't any good content coming in, there is nothing useful that is coming in, but it is taking away a lot of our time and also a lot of our energy. So try to limit your screen time as much as possible. If you're having screen time, plan it out. If you want it for entertainment, great, do it. Don't I have nothing against it, but plan it out. A lot of times what are we doing is we are watching some show and still we are on Facebook or something, and we're still messaging, we're playing a game. We're neither watching the show nor we're doing this thing. It's all wasted time, completely wasted time, and at the end you're not even having any sense of accomplishment. Okay, so that is the sixth thing. Every day look for a sense of accomplishment. How do we get this? How do I get a sense of accomplishment every single day? Come on. How do we look for a sense of accomplishment every day? Okay, complete your notes. Whenever you finish a task, doesn't matter how small it is, you will have a sense of accomplishment. When you can finish something saying that, yes, I have completed it, I have finished it at like 80%, 70%, whatever it is, you will have a sense of accomplishment. First part is complete your notes. If you have any gaps, show me your notes. Okay, send a picture of it on the WhatsApp group or whatever. Ask if this is good enough. If there are any errors, I will say just correct this part, or else I will say don't worry about these things. Okay, if you want to maximize these 6 months, please do everything that I'm telling you here. I have tried these things. Students who have followed every step here are the ones who usually get good at data science. It's not just data science, any subject that you take here. You could be taking a full stack engineering course, you could be taking SQL course, you could be taking generative AI course. All of those things will be done if you are following these steps. First part, complete your notes. Second part, finish assignments on priority. What do I mean by on priority? What do we mean by on priority? Who can explain that to me?
At anyhow, we need to finish on the same day.
Not necessarily on the same day, but keep it on the top of your list. These are the things that I have to do. For example, you might have other things also, right? You will have office work, you might have personal work, but keep this on the top of the priority, saying that this is something that has to be done at the earliest. Always keep a deadline and finish it off. Try to do it within the week. Try to finish off those assignments, quizzes, whatever we're sending on the same day or the next day, whenever. Okay, so the main thing is when we're doing a class, right, your retention will be the maximum for the next 24 hours, preferably within the same day. Okay, third part, revise within the same day. Revise within the same day. Okay, so think about this, right? You watch a cricket match, then you watch the highlights. At the end of it, you practically remember the entire game, right? Yes or no? You watch an entire cricket match.
Yes,
At the
yes,
end
sir.
of
Yes.
it, you watch the highlights also. Now you don't have to go through the entire cricket match again to remember what exactly happened. You know all the main important parts that happened, how the things changed, and you remember the exact things, even the commentary and everything that you will remember. All the important stuff you remembered. After that, you really don't have to go to the match or the video to understand anything. Yes or no? So if you go through the course, if you go through the class with a full concentration, as much as possible, nobody can do a full concentration. You finish the class, take your notes, and it will take you like 10 to 15 minutes to revise the whole thing. Even when there is, I mean, this 10 to 15 minutes is when we're talking about complex concept, let's say decision tree or something. Even in those days, 10 to 15 minutes of revision is enough. So, what is the total amount of time that you're spending in a given day? 2 hours plus another 15 minutes. Let's say there is an assignment, another half an hour. Max 3 hours you're spending in that day, and you're done. You're not only done, you have the maximum retention. Does everybody agree with that?
Yes, sir.
Anybody who does not agree with that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So go through the class. That is a time well spent, because if you're not doing anything else on the side, you would have finished it, right? Then there will be another 5 to 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Your revision is done. After that, you will have maximum retention. Try to do that within the 24 hours. Try to do that within the 24 hours, because your brain tends to retain things for about 24 hours. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Any questions here? Okay. So do it within 24 hours, update your notes, do whatever you have to. Now, when you have to revise later, always revise from the notes. Always revise from notes. The final aim, the final aim is that you must be able to present you must be able to present end to end of data science. That means, statistics, data visualization, machine learning, deep learning, all of these things put together. I want you to be able to finish that within 10 minutes. I want you to use, something like this, what I'm using right now, a pen tablet. We'll talk about these things a little later. Or you can create your own deck. You can just talk about it, but within 10 minutes, I want you to be able to present end to end of data science. So I want you to have a full flow. Why statistics? What are the main things in statistics? What are descriptive statistics? What are inferential statistics? What is hypothesis testing? What is correlation? What is regression? What is machine learning? What are the types of machine learning? Everything, there should be a flow. That will only come if you are practicing on a daily basis. This is also something that prepares you for your interview. In an interview, people are primarily looking at your communication skills, your ability to present what you know. Okay? So, all the nonsense that people think interviews are about getting the best candidate. No, it is not. Interviews are not looking for the best possible candidate. They are looking for an optimal candidate. They don't want somebody who is super smart, because once they come into the team, they are going to act like they are better than everybody else. So no, often people who are really really good at their subject are not the ones who get the job. That is why people say I gave every right answer to the question, but still I did not get the job, and those kind of things. That is because you were not focusing on other aspects of the interview. The main thing is that you should be able to present. Now imagine this situation, right? You are taking the interview on your computer. That is likely to happen, right? Most of the interviews, at least the first couple of rounds, are happening on phone. You don't show up at the place. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
First couple of interviews will happen on the phone itself, on the phone or on a computer, on a Zoom call or something like that. And they ask you a couple of questions, and you feel that it is better if you can present it. Do you have the tools to present? Do you have something already prepared? Or if you have to use a whiteboard, you can use a whiteboard, right? Something like what I'm using right now. Yes. So
Yes,
first
sir.
part is you have to be prepared. Second part is you should also have the tools and technologies that will help you present. So if you open up a paint thing, you open up Microsoft Paint and you're using your mouse to kind of start writing it, it is going to be very difficult. They are not optimized for that. Microsoft Paint was not built for presentation purposes. That is why you have these kind of tools. You have bamboo paper. These are all free tools, by the way. But you may have to invest in one of these tablets. You can get one for like 1,500, under 2,000. They you will not be able to do any art on it, but you can definitely write. Not only have one of these tools, but I also want you to practice enough. I want you to create imaginary scenarios where you're presenting logistic regression. If somebody asks me how to present logistic regression, I will always open up one of these things and I'll start writing. I'll start writing, I'll put in the diagrams, I will give an example, I will talk about what is odds versus what is probability. I will write down the derivation of that equation. Okay. And then I will explain what exactly that means. I will put up some charts and other things. If you can do that, you are already noticed. So it is not exactly your knowledge, but your ability to present the knowledge. That is more important. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next part, focus on business applications.  。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . . . . . . . . . 。 . 。 . . . . . 。 . . . . . . 。 . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . 。 doesn't matter how much data science you know, it is pointless if you don't know how to present it. Okay, how to use it for your business. So depending upon which business you could be in a tech business, you could be in hospitality business, you could be in medical field, you could be in retail or something like that. Do you understand the business? That is very important. So whichever company you are going to an interview, try to understand what is their main business. And when I say what is your business, what do I mean? What do we mean by business? What do we mean by business understanding? This is a general knowledge question,
And
right?
whichever field we are working in, which domain we are doing our jobs.
Okay, so domain, what do we mean by that? What are the main things that we need to understand?
Like whether we are working for a software project or for hospitality projects or
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, but what are the components? If I have to list down the components of business understanding, if I say that I understand retail, what do I say? What do I mean? If I say I understand the restaurant business, I understand retail business, what am I exactly saying?
That means buying and selling is a way of earning money.
Yeah.
Buying and selling, right? Where is the income and where is the cost? First part is where is the money coming from? Income and cost. Okay, so whenever you have to improve business, there are only two things that you do. Either you raise the revenue or you reduce the cost. These are the only two ways to go about it, right? Yes or no? You
Yes,
could
yes.
do so many other things in order to increase the revenue or to reduce the cost. Okay? But eventually it becomes about income or cost. So basically, where is the money coming in and where is the money going out? If you can reduce that cost, your business becomes more profitable. So you have to understand what is the revenue model. You also need to understand what is the cost model. You must have recently read about Elon Musk trying to, do those things where he is asking people to justify their jobs, understand why exactly they are doing that particular thing. They are asking to, judge their own peers or somebody. Yes or no? So basically, they are trying to understand whether a particular employee is useful there or not, or if he is doing a job which is absolutely not required, can be done by AI or something like that. So that is where the revenue and the cost model. So whenever I'm talking about business understanding, the interview that you're going to try to understand what their business is. How are they making money? Where is the money coming from? And where is the money going out? And what is the difference? It also means understanding competition. It also means understanding the latest technologies and other things. The main thing is revenue versus cost. When you understand these things, you understand metrics. Everything that we do in data science is about understanding metrics. What do we mean by metrics? Metrics are mathematical formulae that define one particular function in a business. Okay? So it is about how many sales have you done? How many leads did you have versus how many sales did you make? That is a metric. So I've given you 15 leads and you are only able to make one sale, then your metric is 1 by 15. Yes? So
Yes,
those are the
yes.
important things. We need to understand what the various metrics of a particular business are and how are they doing it. So business metrics, for example, would be something like earnings per share, revenue, what is the top line versus what is the bottom line, right? How much depreciation is happening, how much amortization is happening, all of those things. So we should be able to present them as in terms of, let's say, net promoter score, customer loyalty score, customer satisfaction scores. So you should be able to benchmark them against their competitors, saying that your competitor is actually better at this one than you, and hence you have to improve this in order to get there. That is what data science does. We have to give solutions. Data science is all about solutions. It is not about mathematics or it is not about statistics or anything. You might know a lot of mathematics, but if you're not able to give a proper business solution, there is simply no point to it. Yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So we need to have business understanding. So over the course of the over the entire course, I'm going to be talking about various businesses in the basics. How does one particular business work? What are the main things that you have to identify in that business? For example, something like a priori, right? A priori is applied in retail. And what are we doing? That we are trying to create a market basket analysis. If a particular customer has bought three items, what is the fourth item that they are likely to purchase? And if we can have a very good understanding of that, then we will be able to stock our stores better. How to plan out the layout of a particular retail store or anything like that. So those are called metrics. Okay, metrics and understanding the business, these are the important parts. So what have we covered till now? First part, leave your phones in the other room. Don't take the session on a mobile devices. Please get a laptop. Create a small space in your house. Okay, create a small space in your house where you're not going to be disturbed. And also, very importantly, tell everybody in your house that this is important and you would be spending this time every single day not to be disturbed. Okay, it is very important to get your friends and family behind you if you want to be successful. They need to understand what is important to you and they must respect that. Yes or no? And you have to keep that trust. If they are going to be giving you that time, which means you are not going to be doing certain things that you are expected to do, right? Yes or no?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
Which means you have to pay attention here. Since they are covering for you, you have to pay attention here. That gives you a sense of responsibility also. Maximize your time. Always think in terms of, if I'm spending this much time, am I getting the most out of it? Which also means if you do not understand something in the class, please ask. I will repeat it as many times as you want. In fact, that makes me a better teacher. I will actually appreciate it if you are asking me. Because if I'm not able to explain it to you in one way, I will explain it to you another way. If I can't explain it to you mathematically, I will explain it to you like a story. One way you will remember it. One way or the other, you will remember it. Okay? Also, make notes. Work with the pen and paper. If you're physically working with something, your brain will think that this is important and it will try to remember things. If you're taking notes on a laptop, it is not going to happen. Also, it is not the most efficient thing because you cannot make diagrams, you cannot make process maps. Okay, it is not like minutes of the meeting. So please take a pen and paper. That way you will be able to draw the diagrams which I'm showing on the screen. You will still get all of the material, but I still want you to draw those things. I want you to kind of understand the charts and everything. Please don't rely on recordings. Recordings should only be used for revision purposes. So you put it on 2x or something, quickly go through the main points, look for the highlights, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, be done with it. And after that, you only rely on your notes, not on the recordings. If you do not understand a particular topic, even after that, let's have a separate class on that. Okay, we'll have an additional class on that. Always look for a sense of accomplishment at the end of the class or at the end of the day. Since this is the most important thing that you are doing right now, please ask yourself, what have I done today? Have I finished my notes? Have I finished my assignments? Or at least do I have a plan or a deadline upon which I will finish my assignments? Since you're all adults, you should put up your own deadlines. Yes? Since you're all adults, you should put up your own
Yes.
deadlines. If you're below the age of 18, I would have given you deadlines. But since you're all above 18, I am expecting you to put up your own deadlines. Okay? And the notes must be very important. So the notes also, I'm going to be talking about it later. So you should have a long notes and you should have short notes. Short notes are basically like your, key cards. So 2 or 3 pages, if you can summarize everything from end to end, all the important formulae, all the important codes, all the important libraries, that is good, right? Then your entire revision is done by going through these three parts. So one of the questions that I ask is, let's say somebody calls you and say you are going to have an interview in the next 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Can you revise once before that? That is the question you must ask yourself. Can I revise everything within 15 minutes? Is that a good question to ask or not?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
If somebody says you have an interview in the next 15 minutes, can I quickly do one more revision, which means that you should be able to revise everything within 15 minutes. That is only possible if you have your long notes, if you have your short notes. You should be thorough with your long notes, and the short notes are basically like, pointers to your long notes. And presentation skills, we are going to be doing some exercise on presentation skills whenever you have bought one of these devices. Okay, in fact, I will send out a couple of these things. Plan out for it. If you cannot do it, there are styluses that you can get for like 600 $700. You can do it on your phone itself. Okay, so it is possible. You can get a cheap solution. I want you to start looking into it. Create something where you can present or start writing on the screen easily, efficiently. Okay, so for example, if I want to kind of create a particular chart, right, something like that, I can do it on this screen. I will not be able to do it if I'm doing MS Paint or something like that. So please invest in one of these devices. These devices go on forever. The one that I have, I bought it in 2015 or something like that. 10 years I've been using the same thing, so it is totally worth it. Okay, so these are called pen tablets. Let me just show you. These are called pen tablets. These are the kind of devices you don't need to invest in these kind of things. These are for artists. Get something simple like this one. Okay, you can get something as cheap as 2,500 or something like that. They come with a stylus. They are USB compatible. This is a device that you should carry with yourself. Okay, even at work, when you're making a presentation. So for example, I'll show you later, right? When I'm doing a PowerPoint presentation, there also I can add these things. I can make notes. I can ask questions. It makes even your PowerPoint presentations come up better. Okay, so if you're able to hold the attention of somebody when you're presenting, then you're good at your job. It is as simple as that. These are called pen tablets. What I am using is one of these things, XP Pen. Okay, but there are others also. Wacom are slightly expensive. They are for artists, so you don't really need them. Unless you're an artist, then please go ahead and invest one for yourself. You can do a lot of work on these things, but main thing we want is creating a visual experience. When I'm having a chat with somebody, and I can kind of start drawing, because we as people understand visuals better than actual notes or something like that. Okay, see if you can invest in one of these things. It is always good. You can use it for work also. That is necessary. Okay, and then you must be able to present end of the end-to-end data science, focus on business applications. Always ask, if I am getting one of these algorithms, what can I do with it? If I am learning decision trees, where do I apply it? What kind of a data can I apply it on? Can I apply it on, let's say, retail data? Can I apply it on medical data? Can I apply it on banking data? So that is the kind of question you should ask. Using this, what are the things that I can predict? We will talk about a particular use case, but even otherwise, you should ask, in my own company, what is the kind of data that we are looking at? Can I use data science to apply it somewhere? Can I use decision trees and solve a particular problem within my own company? Okay, so that becomes a project. The moment you have a couple of projects, you can actually write it down in your CV. Please don't write any uh, fake projects in your CV. Everybody knows those fake projects. Okay, I want you to actually do a particular project, even if it looks flimsy. That will have more weight than a very big project, because you will get caught in a fake CV. Okay, we will build a good CV. It will be honest, and it will be something that you can defend. Okay, and we will add certain things that you will know exactly what you're talking about. Everybody agrees with me on this?
Yes,
Yes or
sir.
no?
Yes.
Okay. So these are all the things that we have to do even before we start a course. The main thing that I want you to remember: 6 months is a very long time. 6 months is a very long time. Do you remember what you were doing 6 months back? 6 months back would be what? First of January 2024, what were you doing? Compare that to where you are now. 6 months is a very long time, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
Which also means what? In 6 months, you can actually get significantly good at what you're doing, or 6 months feels such a long time that you get bored and you give up. Both of those things can happen. And I will tell you the metrics from Udemy. You know how many people actually finish the courses that they're paying for? Some of those courses are as much as 1,500, 3,000. People buy those courses. But how many of the people actually finish the course?
Around 10%.
It is under 1%. It is 0.7% or something. It is under 1%. 10% would be really good for them. They are trying to increase it to like 2%. If 2% of the people can finish all of the courses, then they will be justified in paying the content creators, because Udemy is like Netflix. They collect courses and then they put it out, and they have already paid the content creators ahead of time. They need to justify how they're doing it, and people are not, they're only buying courses, they're not finishing courses. And tell me, who are the people who are really successful? How many people actually get successful in their careers? Very successful in their careers? Usually under 1%? Yes or no?
Yes.
20,000 people join Infosys. How many of them end up, let's say, in senior management positions in 20 years?
Yeah,
Under
it's about
1%.
1%.
Under 1%, significantly under 1%. When I'm saying senior management position, I'm talking about one or two levels below the CEO. Very few, right? Most of them just get stopped in the middle management practices. So we don't want to be in the bottom 99.3%. We want to be in the 0.07%. 6 months gives you enough time to do all of that, but it also is a long time where you get tired, because you get tired because you feel that you're not getting enough out of it. You get it? A lot of people give up because it is difficult. It is difficult to focus. It is boring. I would rather do something else. The human mind is like that. There is nothing wrong. There is nothing wrong with you in general. The human mind itself is like that. We are given a brain which would rather seek entertainment and immediate gratification than do something very long term. And that is where I want you to have all of these habits. If you're doing all of these habits, what happens is it translates into some work done every single day. You will have a sense of accomplishment, because of which you will be coming back to the class again, and you will do that. So I want you to come to every class, and that is not going to happen if you are not doing all of these things. So all of these things are related. Please understand that. The entire thing is related. If you ignore my very first advice and you're sitting with a mobile phone, you're definitely going to stop this class after 2 months. And some people, what they do, they end up blaming somebody or the other, right? Because it is difficult for us to say, no, I did not work hard enough. We will say the class was pointless, I was not learning anything, it is no point working on these things. ऐसा ही रहने वाला है life and all of that. So please don't do that. The reason why any of us we don't go ahead is because we don't have a certain set of habits. It's always important. And also, 6 months is a very long time. It means that you can learn a lot. Learning even incremental values, right? A little bit, 2 or 3 lines per day. Also, 6 months you can learn a lot. And I will make that simple. As an instructor, it is my job to make sure that I'm giving you bite-sized pieces of information which is digestible. You leave that part up to me. But your job is to take that bite-sized piece of information and digest it. Fair enough?
Yes, sir.
Right? It is my job to give you that bite-sized piece of information, but you have to digest it. That is important. Okay? That part I will not be able to do. I will make it as simple as possible. Some of you might come with mathematics experience, so there are a couple of AI professionals already here, right? So for you, the explanation would be at one level. There will be somebody who probably comes from, let's say, social sciences background. For them, the explanation has to be another way. Either way, you will have multiple ways of understanding a concept, and I want you to remember it. Second part, you may also give up. Please don't give up. Please don't give up. That is the main thing. Good things will happen over long periods of time. So there is also this one thing that we discussed in the call on Friday, right? Friday or Thursday? Friday, right? On no, sorry, on Saturday. On Saturday we had the
Sir,
call. Saturday, right? We had this discussion about expectations. People are expecting 200% jump in their CTC and all of that. Okay, so I'm also going to be honest with you about it. Let's say your salary is already at like 15 lakhs or something. I cannot guarantee you 200% jump, right? There are very few jobs that pay 45 lakhs. Very, very few jobs. And almost all of them do not pay for your knowledge. They all pay for your management skills. The jobs which are at 45 lakhs expect you to go do sales. They expect you to give solution architecture. They expect you to kind of figure out a problem and solve it independently. Yes or no? The jobs
Yes.
at 45 lakhs are not, these kind of things. They are not, operational jobs. Operational jobs stop at around 20 max to max. After that, either you are managing teams, either you are doing sales, you are getting on customer calls, you are giving solutions, okay, or you're doing something like, you're creating you're creating new paradigms. For example, you're creating agile workspace or something like that. You understand these things. You understand Six Sigma. You understand agile. You understand PMP framework. Any of these things. Okay, so 200% jumps, please forget about it. Nobody is getting that, and please don't believe any of the articles you're getting. We will get you a decent jump. Usually it is between 15 to 20%, okay, on your existing, because all the jobs, if you negotiate well, that is another topic on the whole. 15-20% is reasonable, and if your salary is very low, you can get up to 30%. Okay, what I can guarantee you is in 15 to 20 years, you will definitely have a very nice house and you can drive an Audi. As of today, I mean, whatever is the equivalent of an Audi in 20 years. That I can guarantee. I can guarantee you long term success. Nobody can guarantee short term success. It is like investments, right? Can you guarantee that if I'm putting my money, I will get 10% or 20% increment in the next 1 week? Can any investment advisor guarantee that?
No.
No. But can investment advisors guarantee you 15% CAGR over 7 years?
Definitely.
Definitely, right? 15% CAGR, reasonable expectation over 7 years. I can give you a 98% probability of that. If I'm expecting 10% in 1 week, more often than not, it is actually going down. Your portfolio will go into something which is risky and you're going to lose money. There is a very high probability of that. It is the same way. So, careers, again, careers build over time. Careers are not created overnight. Careers are not created overnight. Careers take a long time. They take a long time. They take 10 to 15 years. It takes 10 to 15 years for you to just figure out what exactly you're doing. Okay? Where your loyalties lie. Who are your friends? Who are the people? Okay? Also, one more thing, please don't keep jumping jobs every now and then. Whenever you jump jobs, you lose relationships. Okay, you lose the people. So doesn't matter how good friends you are when you are doing a job, after you quit the job, you're not going to be talking to that person again. It is a very difficult thing. So when you skip a job, you jump a job, you are losing a lot of relationships which you actually spent time building. Those relationships matter as you grow old toward in the same career. Get it? People who are at the top are the ones who have managed relationships. Yes or no?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So they know people, they know how to get things done. So, for example, my manager at Dell, my previous job, he knew everybody in Dell because he was there for more than 25 years. Any project that comes in, he knows that there is this one person in Australia, there is one person in Norway, there is one person in Mexico who knows how to do this thing. He has talked to people, he kept in touch with those people. Those people know him because he would come on some kind of a chat every now and then. He would be in some meeting every now and then. He would join 5 minutes early. He would ask them about their personal things. How is that happening? How is this happening? They would talk about cricket. They would talk about football, right? So he makes himself interesting. He knows people. He has helped out people, and everybody now owes him. And this is literally what Sundar Pichai's career is also like, by the way. If you can read Sundar Pichai's book, please go ahead and do it. I would highly recommend it. Sundar Pichai and Satya Nadella, both of them, as they were growing through their careers, they were always helping other people out. As in, for example, one day they would stay back an hour late and help a fellow employee, even though it was not their job. Sometimes they have stayed back for a couple of days in order to help out somebody out of their own time. Now, all of those people really owed these people. Get it? So when Sundar Pichai was being considered for CEO of Google, actually Sundar Pichai and Satya Nadella both were being considered for CEO of Microsoft. And Google did not want him to go. Sundar Pichai, they did not want him to go to Microsoft because he was also being considered. They were interviewing him, and the word got out. Somehow Google got to know, and they ran a particular survey across a whole bunch of managers, and they got to know that everybody was recommending Sundar Pichai for the job of CEO. That is how he got it. He spent 20 years building all of those relationships before he got that job. Do you get how relationships matter? All of those people recommended him. He got so much positive recommendation that got him the job. There were almost no negative recommendations. People who worked with him, people who worked under him, his bosses, all of those people. He did not start at the top level, right? He started off with Gmail. Yes or no? So those things
Yes.
are very important. When we are at a job, we have to help out people. I'm not saying that you have to completely go out of your way and be philanthropic, because you also have to make sure that your metrics are met. Your metrics are only met when you take your entire team together. These are things that people don't explain. They don't even realize how they are doing it. But over long periods of time, it is the relationships, it is the work that you have done with the others, it is the teamwork, the communication, all of these things which matter the most. That is where people remember. Okay, I will give you one more example. This was, I think, in 2006 or 7. You know how I started my career in 2005. Okay, so how people are in their beginning of the career, right? You feel that you deserve a lot more money, so this company is not giving me the right salary. I would jump my job. So I went for an interview. I felt that I was not getting paid. I was not getting paid either, but I went to an interview and they asked me a very interesting question. They said there is a project that is running, okay, uh, and the deadline is tomorrow. Would you focus on timeliness or would you focus on the quality? Does everybody understand the question? The deadline is
Satyam,
tomorrow.
can you
You
repeat?
have to deliver the project tomorrow. It's a simple thing. I mean, it could be a simple sheet that you're sending, or it could be something more complex. Okay, but the deadline is tomorrow. Either you can do quality or you can do timeliness. Which one are you going to pick? And I gave a very bad answer, but I was also very young back then, so I had no idea. But I kept thinking about that question, and I get a new answer to it. New answer, I get a more refined answer to it every time I think about it. So, what would be your answer? Would you focus on timeliness or would you focus on quality?
Quality.
Quality.
Quality. Everybody says quality, but you miss timeliness. So it doesn't matter whether you send it out or not. If you focus on quality, it doesn't matter if you send it out or not. Somebody else will send it out.
You have to focus on both.
Huh?
You
You
have to
can
focus
focus on
on
both. you're clearly going to miss a deadline. You can't focus on both. That is why you're asking the question. If you could focus on both, you would have already been ready, right? If you could focus on both, there was no problem in the first place. Clearly, you're in a place where there is a problematic situation. So, what would you do? There is no right answer for this, by the way. It is an interview question, which means that there is no correct answer here. Okay, but as you said, quality is more important, because if I send a half-baked item just because it is timeliness, they're going to say, what did you create? And I have missed out on both timeliness and quality anyway, isn't it? If I don't
Yes.
focus on quality, then I have missed out on quality and timeliness both, because that product that I have created is of no use to anybody. The answer for that is you have to focus on communication. If this was not going to meet the timelines, why didn't anybody raise the alarm a week ahead? See, the answer is not in the two options that were given, but there is a third option. You
Yes.
understand?
Yes.
So why didn't we communicate? The answer over there was, how am I keeping my communication channels open? And it's okay to fail once in a while, right? ये वाला गया तो गया. ठीक है, I have failed on this one, I accept it. But next time, I'm not going to make the same mistake. So the answer is not in the two options that they have given. The answer is in something else. The answer is in habits. The answer is in creating sustainable management practices. So I would say, if I were to go back to that interview, I would say, okay, if it is 1 day deadline and there is no way I can finish it, I'm going to say that it is not going to be done. And if that is the time I'm getting to know, if I knew it for a week, then that is a bad thing. If I knew for a week that it is probably not going to get done, I should have escalated it somewhere. I should have told my manager. I should have told, and in fact, my manager is to be blamed, because what was he doing until the last minute? He is also responsible for the delivery, right? Why was he not asking me a couple of weeks back whether we are on track or not? If he asked me if we are on track and I said yes, everything is fine, then it is my fault completely. Yes or no? These
Yes.
are these are tough questions. The answer is not in the two options that they have given. That is the main important thing, right? So the answer is, if this has to go, if I cannot deliver it, I cannot deliver it. I will send out an email saying that we are going to be late. Give us another week's time or 2 weeks' time or whatever, and I will send it to you. But this time, I make sure that I send it out. Okay. If that is not going to happen, then I will take it as a failure, forget it. But from next time onwards, I'm going to make sure my communication channels are open. I will ask for things that are needed. I will ask for them ahead of time. I will plan it out. I will break down my project into easy, doable steps, and I will keep people posted. I'm not going to wait until the final deadline and then say, not going to happen. So that is the main thing. So what they were asking, what they were looking for in that question was not a correct answer. They were looking for how I'm going to think about it. Kind of makes sense, right?
Yes. Yes.
They just wanted to see how I think about it. What are my values like? What kind of a person I am? They had zero interest in the actual answer. They wanted to see if I can articulate, if I can think. That is what interviews are like. And it's a very simple question, right? Yes or no? So today, I want
Yes.
you to think of your own answer about this thing. I want you to just think about it. If somebody asked you the same question in an interview, what would your answer be? The best strategies always are: be honest, be yourself. Don't try to pretend to be somebody else. Don't try to pretend to know that you have read a lot of books or something like that. If you know agile, if you know DevOps, if you know PMP, if you know any of these project management philosophies, great. You can refer to them. You can refer to a story. You can refer to something that you read in the book. So and so Narayan Murthy did this once. I have a feeling that there is something to learn from there. That is also a good answer. But be creative in the way that you are genuine, right? Be genuine, ask the questions, think about it. The more time you think about it, the better your answer is going to be. And always be honest, be yourself. That is very, very important. Everybody gets this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, what is a career? Career is basically your understanding of systems, your understanding of how businesses work, your understanding of relationships, communication, all of these things. Okay? Do you keep your communication proactive? The moment you feel that there is something off, did you send out an email to all of the stakeholders? Or did you sit on it for a week and hope that it will kind of somehow resolve? It's always good to say, currently there is this problem, I am working on it. If I get a solution, I will update you. Otherwise, I might need help. That is an email that will be appreciated anywhere in the world. Doesn't matter if you are working for a Japanese company or an American company or an Indian company. If you escalate things ahead of time, you will always be rewarded. So career is a sum total of all of this. It is almost never your technical skills. Very rarely it happens that it is about your technical skills. It's about your solutioning skills. Are you able to deliver? If somebody gives you a task, are you able to deliver? That is important. Okay. So over the next 6 months, I want you to develop these habits. I'm also going to refer you to some books. I would highly recommend that you read it, or you can get a Blinkist subscription, and they will summarize those books for you. Or there are summaries available everywhere. You can just go ahead and read those summaries. That is also enough. You can just go on YouTube instead of reading an entire book. You can just go and see the summary of that book. People have created nice presentations out of it. Take quick notes, and you're ready, right? So there are always shortcuts around doing a vast amount of job. You don't have to do the entire thing in order to be uh, sufficient. So, for example, these days I can just use Gen AI to understand. Let's say there is this book called Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. I want to get an understanding of it. I will just go and ask ChatGPT. Can you summarize the book Malcolm Gladwell in about 5 points? And each of the points just elaborate upon it. I will be done in about 15 to 20 minutes. I'll get the most important aspects of the book. I don't have to read the whole book. Right? Yes or no?
Yes, yes.
Those are the things that we want to kind of understand over the next 6 months. So please understand, careers are not created overnight. Please have realistic expectations. The aim of this course is to get you placed primarily, definitely get you placed, but it has to be in a good organization, a place where you will have a longer timeline. Okay. Startups are good for some people, big companies are good for some people. Okay. Not everybody flourishes in a large company like HP or Dell. Not everybody flourishes in a startup. For example, I am a horrible person at a startup. I would not survive in a startup. Even though I work at a startup right now, I'm not the right kind of person you want in a this thing. I take my own time. Okay, I don't work very fast. Okay, I will say I need all of the information beforehand before I can make a decision. At startups, people are expecting you to just do something. It is. I feel that that is not the kind of person I am. Okay, and I often get into trouble for that. I manage it somehow. So not everybody is prepared for the same kind of work environment. People have different skills, different risk taking abilities, different approaches. Some people do well in large companies, some people do well in Indian companies, some people do well in Japanese companies, some people do well in startups, right? So we have to identify what your skills are, what your strengths are, and based on that we have to identify a path for you. Data science happens to be a toolkit that everybody uses. Doesn't matter if you're in marketing or sales or HR or operations, whether you're marketing, right? Or whether you're in actual coding, you're actually working on technologies, product building, interfaces, any of these things. Data science applies everywhere. Okay? Any questions here? I've been speaking for about an hour now. Any questions? Any questions?
So I just want to ask that what is the average salary in market of data science?
It depends upon the person, right? It depends upon the person. There is no average salary for data science. There are data scientists who are making 3 lakhs per annum. There are data scientists who are making millions, millions of dollars. There is no average. Doesn't make any sense. It also depends upon your work experience. It depends upon where you're coming from. It depends upon the company that you're going to. So, for example, if you're going to a startup, you might be making a very small salary, but you're getting a lot in stock options. Stock options are never covered in the pay. So you could only be making like 4 lakhs or 5 lakhs, but they give you options for 25 lakhs. So that matters, right? So
Yes, yes.
that question doesn't have a good answer. Think about it, right? IITs, you might have heard those 2 crore, 3 crore salaries. What is the reality of those salaries? You must have seen those videos, right? IIT में 3 crore
Yes,
का
yes.
salary and all that. And what is the explanation that people give? What is the explanation that people give? They say that it is US salary or something. They have converted that into rupees and all of that. Yeah,
Yes, yes.
but that is also nonsense because people who have made those videos have also not done their homework. Go to IIT Delhi, right? Last year, there were over 30 people who got a salary of over 50 lakhs in India. Their jobs were in Bombay and Delhi. So it is not that people are not making good salaries over there. Just that those number of people are very, very less. Same IIT, there are people, same IIT Madras, right? That is my college, IIT Madras. The topper last year got a salary of 2.5 crores. That was in India. 2.5 crores in India. The highest salary was that. And he did not take it. He went off 2 years. They offered him 2.5 crores as a CTC, which means including stock options, of course, which he can vest over 5 years. So 2.5 crores, it looks a lot, but it was a reasonable salary. He was still making like almost 80 lakhs or something as a base salary over and above total number of perks. He was given a car and a flat and all of those things. So overall cost comes to like 2.5 crores or something. In the same college, in the exact same college, people who had the same exact credentials 4 years back, many of them did not get placed. No placement in an IIT. So think about it. With the same course, same degree, same professor, same environment, within 4 years, one person went on to get 2.5 crores, and a whole bunch of people they were not even qualified for the job. Yes or no? Now think about how much more diversity we have. We come from different colleges, we come from different areas, backgrounds. Some of us come from tier two cities, tier two towns. We have different communication skills. We have different risk taking skills. So how can I say what is the average? That doesn't make any sense, right? Yes or no?
Yes, yes.
What I can judge is what is your current CTC, and with a jump, are you going to get 20%? Are you going to 30%? Or are you going to get more than that? That I can tell. Because whenever you're looking for a job change, right, the HR always asks you what is your current CTC, what is your notice period. Yes or no?
Yes, yes.
Because your next salary is not based on how much everybody else is making at that position. It is based on how much you're making right now. That is the only metric. Make sense?
Yes.
So it is based on how much you are making right now. Yes. Once you get there, if they feel that you're really good and you are a quality candidate, they will start adjusting your salary faster. They will start adjusting your salary faster. How do I get to that position is a different topic. As I said, it's about relationships, it's about communication, it's about team building, it's about working together as a team, it is about taking responsibilities, it's about taking initiative. You have to create certain stories once you get there. But our main job is here to kind of get you into that position. So your next salary is based on your salary right now. It is not based on the average of whatever people are making. So all of those articles, that's why I keep saying, right? There is a lot of misinformation out there. When they say data scientists on average are making like this, on what? On what basis are you saying this? Who are these people? I need to get more information, right? That is what data science is about. I need to get more information. How are you even making that statement that on average people are making this? I know data scientists who are straight out of college making 3 lakhs, 4 lakhs. There are also the same, people at the same level who are making as much as 30, 40. Right. So those questions are not very good questions to ask. The good questions to ask are how much jump can I make? What is the kind of industry can I get into? What are the kind of things that I'm going to do? Are those things sustainable? Given that we have generative AI going on, are those things sustainable? Am I in the right field or not? Is this going to get automated or not? If it is getting automated, what are the skills that I have to kind of pick up? Those are the questions we must be asking. I hope that makes sense to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So again, realistic expectations, whatever we're doing right now, we'll try to get you a good jump. Okay. We'll try to get you a good jump. We'll create the CV properly for you. We'll train you on that. Okay. And at the end, once you jump into those places, right? For example, if I'm recommending you and your CV goes in and you kind of get selected, then if you don't do well there, it is my reputation on the line. Yes or no?
Yes, yes.
Yes,
So it
sir.
depends upon how you are doing the job there once you get there. And the job that you might be doing as a data scientist would be wildly different from what you imagine. Very wildly. For example, in my current job, I only do meetings. In my current job, I go do certain workshops. I do workshops similar to this. I primarily do, workshops on culture building. I was hired as a data scientist, but I go out and I mostly work with government. I go there and I'm giving workshops on culture building and how digital transformation can happen. Barely do any data science anymore. In the past 1.5 years, I have not really written code or anything. I go out and I inspire people, I identify areas, I do some solutioning and everything, but I'm not doing coding anymore. I'm not even building applications anymore. I just give my requirements to the incubation team and they kind of take it from there. And every once in a while, I kind of go out and check what is happening on those projects. That's it. So, but my interview was so technical. The interview for my current job was so technical. They asked me about everything. They gave me a particular project. They asked me to write code for it. Okay. They asked me to kind of build a little wire program and all of that. They asked me to create a Figma model, a UI UX design and everything. They asked me to create an entire course material and everything. But once I got there, I'm not doing any of those things. Right? So once you get into the job, your actual day-to-day task could be very different. You could be just asked to make content. You could be asked to, for example, just go on sales calls and gather requirements. That is also something that a data scientist does. There are very few jobs where you're actually doing model building, and most of those jobs are not in India. Real model building very rarely happens. Not maybe in banking or other places, but statistical analysis happens here. That is something that we have to understand. So expectations are very varied. It depends upon a whole range of factors. Life is complex. That's all that I can say. Okay. So be prepared for everything. We want to create a career over time. And data science is a good way to understand those careers because data science gives you a mathematical approach towards problem solving. So I wanted to focus on problem solving. Agree?
Yes, sir.
If a problem, a
Yes,
business problem is identified, can you break it down into simpler parts? Can you create a way to approach these problems? Right? Can you create a mathematical output where there is no ambiguity in what you're saying? You have evidence based support. You can give evidence to whatever you are saying. People will still debate it, but you know that you're right. Okay? Can you give recommendations based on the data analysis that you do? Those are the things that we want to build in this course. Any questions? I'm not saying that I'm not going to give you the technical solution. I will make sure that you become good Python programmers as good as possible. You will also, understand machine learning. What are the various libraries for machine learning? Okay, we will do all of statistics. We'll do data visualization, all of that. In fact, after this, I'm going to write down what are the things that we'll be doing. Okay. So technically, yes, it is a technical course, but I want you to focus on all the things that are not technical, which actually matter. Yes. Please
Yes,
understand,
yes.
jobs are not given for technical skills. Very rarely that happens. Okay, it depends upon person to person. And careers are not created overnight, they take 10 to 15 years. But in 10 to 15 years, you can be very successful. If you do certain things consistently, regularly, in 10 to 15 years, you can be wildly successful. Because opportunities are constantly coming, right? You will get one or two opportunities where you will shine, and that will kind of push you forward. Right? In my language, there is a saying that opportunity knocks on the door only once, but your misfortune knocks on the door as long as you don't open the door.
Yes, that's right.
Right? But misfortune is constantly knocking on the door, and you until you open the door, it's not going to give up. But opportunity just knocks once and leaves. Right? So you have to identify which is the one which is opportunity and which is the one which is misfortune. Right? So those are the things. Chalo, if you don't have any questions, I'm going to list out our plan for these things. Okay. So the first part is statistics. How many of you have taken statistics courses in engineering, graduation? Huh?
We do have that in syllabus.
You have a syllabus, but how much of that you remember?
Yes, I
Hardly
remember.
50 to 60%.
Okay. So what do we mean by statistics? Okay. So statistics, I'm going to talk about it when we start statistics. So statistics is basically a way of summarizing your data. Okay. So statistics, in fact, is a very counterintuitive thing for humans. We cannot think. For example, if I ask you what an average is, you cannot give me a convincing answer. Explain me what average is. You know what an average is, but you cannot give me a convincing answer. Think about it. Explain the concept of an average to a 5-year old. Can you do that? Don't tell me how we are calculating it. Tell me what it means. We know what it means, but if I ask you to explain it to me, you will fall. You will not be able to do any of those things. Try that. Think about it. Explain the concept of average to a 5-year old. 5-year old, let's not a 5-year old, let's say an 8-year old or a 10-year old. Because at 10 years you have reasonable, cognitive skills. So the idea of statistics is about summarizing your data. And what is data and all of that, we'll get to it later. So what we are going to cover in statistics is what is known as descriptive statistics, descriptive stats, and inferential stats. Descriptive statistics, as the name suggests, is where you describe your data, and inferential statistics is where you infer things, as in you're looking at the data and you're trying to make some connections out of it. That is your descriptive statistics versus inferential statistics. Okay. Then we talk about statistics. So there are a whole bunch of concepts within descriptive statistics and inferential statistics. At the end of it, we come to second part. We come to certain concepts such as dimensionality reduction, dimensionality reduction, feature selection, regularization. At the core of data science, at the core of problem solving, lie these three things. What do they mean? What is the importance? How do they show up in different situations? Okay, all over the place. We also talk about something known as bias, variance, trade-off. You will start to understand that whenever we are doing certain thing, you cannot maximize it. Okay, so for example, I cannot maximize my score in a cricket match. Okay, Virat Kohli cannot continue to hit century after century in every match. He will break down, he will give up much faster than that. If you want to make a much longer career, you have to put in your 30s, 40s. You have to put in a lot of 30s and 40s and an occasional 100. That is how good careers are. So there is always a trade-off between what you're doing. So for example, if I am constantly hitting hundreds one after the other, there will be a point where I could have gone on for 10 years, but my career got over in just like 6 months or 8 months. So which one do I take? Do I take something which is lasting 10 years or something that lasts 6 to 8 months? There is always a trade-off in things that happen. Okay. If I'm trying to maximize something, something else will get minimized. Okay. If I'm doing diet and exercise in order to lose weight, I have to do that together in a balanced way. If I maximize my exercise and reduce my diet, that is going to be a problem. If I increase my diet and I don't do the exercise properly, that is going to be a problem. So on the whole, it is always a balance that comes in. So you will see that when we come to these concepts: dimensionality reduction, feature selection, regularization, bias variance trade. Okay. So these are concepts that we need to understand. We'll try to get as many examples as possible. What are the tools? What are the mathematical tools, statistical tools? What is factor analysis? What is, let's say, principal component analysis? How do we do that in order to reduce features? What does feature selection look like when we go for, image or sound or something like that, and natural language processing? Those are the questions. Those are the topics that we'll discuss there. Then we'll take like a week and we will do data visualization. Ideally, that should happen in statistics, and I will try to do it with statistics, if at all possible. But data visualization we'll do primarily Tableau. Data visualization is the one single skill set that will get you placed. Of all this entire course, if there is one thing that you want to focus on and you can get really good at, that is data visualization. Can you deliver a good data visualization project? That determines whether you're going to break the interview or not. If you can confidently say, I'm an expert in Tableau, and they give you a data set and you can create something really nice in Tableau, half of your work is done. More than half of your work is done. 80% of your work is done. Okay, especially if you're like under 5 years of work experience, data visualization is your key. It is also not that easy. It takes a lot of fundamental understanding. I'm not saying that data visualization is hard. It is not hard, but figuring out what kind of solution is needed, what kind of data visualization is needed, that part is hard. It takes understanding. It takes a little bit of a wisdom, not intelligence. Okay. So we'll do data visualization. I will spend time on it. Will take 1 week approximately, more if necessary. Okay. In fact, during the data visualization, what I will do is I will give you a data set and I will ask one of you to share your screen and build those visualizations in front of me. Okay. So that is the level I want you to kind of get at. As soon as you look at a data set, what are the things that has to be done? How can I create visualization and get some kind of an insight out of it? That would be the aim of this thing. So this is very, very important. Then we will spend a good amount of time Python programming. This will be dry. This will be kind of boring. and depending upon where you are from, if you have a programming background or not. Python programming is essential, but it is not very exciting. But everything that we have done, right? Data visualization, your dimensional reduction, feature selection, regularization, statistics, all of those things have to be implemented here. Implement statistics in Python. So we will not be learning Python programming completely. We will learn Python programming with a focus on data science, on statistics only. Any questions here on the topics that we are going to cover over the next 6 months? I will take my time with both data visualization and Python programming because these are the job skills. Okay?
Okay.
Yes, no? Is everybody on the call? I am only hearing like two voices, by the way.
Yeah. So for the data visualization, we should go for the Tableau or Power BI.
Both are the same. I work on Tableau. If you want, we can do a session on Power BI also. In fact, I will ask one of you to kind of explain Power BI to me. The problem with Power BI is that the publishing of their dashboards is kind of a complex task. It is a little weird. Okay, but I work on Tableau, so it's easier for me. But if you want Power BI, we can do that too. I recently did a session on Power BI for somebody. Okay.
Okay.
So Python programming, it is going to be the longest. It will be the longest, but also the driest, kind of boring. But we will try to make it as exciting as possible. I'll give you lots of quizzes. I'll give you lots of data sets to kind of work on these things. I want you to practice. Python programming will only come from practice. And even at the end of 6 months, you will not be a very good programmer, but it is okay. If you are not already a good programmer, you already work on C++ or Java or something like that, Python programming will be very easy for you. But even if you're not that, don't worry about it. You will have enough programming skills to kind of do projects and crack interviews. There are other ways to crack interviews. Okay. So Python programming will be the longest, also the driest, and I want you to be focused on this part because it is also hands-on. So we'll try to make it as interesting as possible. I generally lose out people in the Python programming part. So that is why I'm kind of emphasizing this thing. We'll give you as many quizzes as possible. I'll give you a lot of, multiple choice questions. I can generate them, right? And we'll give you data sets. I'll give you exercises. Take your time, work on these things. Python programming is essential. Programming in general is essential. Python programming is essential. Then after that, I will also do a session on market skills, such as Power BI, which we're not covering here. Power BI, SAS, okay, data engineering. Basically, I will talk about Cloudera, etc. Cloudera, Hortonworks, whatever you do. So session on market skills. So kind of certifications. So these kind of things, for example, like TensorFlow certification. What are the main certifications that actually have some value in the market? So which the things that you can put in your CV and it'll get noticed. So if I have a SAS certification, I get certain jobs. Okay. So those are the things that we're going to talk about. So the session on basic market skills, we will do that one session somewhere. After that, we will talk about where it was number 5 or number 6. Number 5. Number 6 would be structured data machine learning. When I say structured data, it's basically rows and columns of data, your Excel sheet kind of a data. Okay, structured data machine learning. We will talk about supervised and unsupervised learning. I will also talk about reinforcement learning. So structured data machine learning, supervised, unsupervised, reinforcement learning, different types of algorithms, a whole bunch of algorithms. These are all going to be algorithms. Algorithms When I say algorithms, basically the idea is you should be able to apply them on certain things. So algorithms plus Python, how to implement them in Python programming. So I have to be able to. First part is I should get the mathematical understanding of it. Then I have to be able to put it in Python. Then I also need to be able to create a model which can take an input and give a particular output. It must have predictive capability. So these are the things where you have predictive analytics. This is called predictive analytics. If you can come till here and finish till here, fantastic, absolutely great. Okay. Then I will do a short session. I will do a short what happened? I will do a short session on um, deep learning. Deep learning, I will do it based on the overall class. And if any of you want a separate class, we can fix that up. I know two of you already have degrees in AI, right? So if you want to do a more in-depth part of deep learning, I will do it with PyTorch. But it will not be for everybody because not necessary. Okay. So you need to understand what deep learning is, but you don't have to spend like a month just going through every piece of code and everything. Okay. So deep learning is part of the course curriculum, but if you're not going to understand it, I don't see the point of spending time on it. If you can come till here, we would rather spend that time on interview preparations, CV building, and all of that. We would rather maximize that than run around this thing, which may or may not have any real applications or actual job, job opportunities. I would rather focus on that. There are a lot of jobs where you do machine learning, but not a lot of jobs where you actually do deep learning. So it depends upon person to person. If the entire class is doing extremely well till here, I will go into deep learning. If the entire class is already struggling over here, then we will focus on this and we'll get that cleared. Because that part, the deep learning part, people can train you when you get into the job. We don't have to get prepared right away. It is going to take a long time to understand how deep learning actually works. Okay. So once that is done, we can take the generative AI part. I can do it either at the beginning of the course or at the end of the course. If I do it at the beginning of the course, you might not have any context. So when I'm doing generative AI, I want you to understand everything, all the other aspects. I want you to understand what is dimensionality reduction. I want you to understand what is feature selection. I want you to understand what is machine learning. I want you to use generative AI to kind of build machine learning. But if I tell you that first, then you will not be learning machine learning in the normal way. So we need certain skills before we get to know what is generative AI, how it was built, okay, and what can we do with it. Okay. So recently, have you seen Satya Nadella say that he does not like the term AI, artificial intelligence? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So he says that it is not really intelligence; it is just a tool. So let's not kind of look at it in a very devout manner or something. It's not like some god is emerging or something like that. So we'll be doing these things. These are the main basic topics. The place where we'll be spending most of the time would be Python programming. We'll be spending a lot of time on Python programming, data visualization, and statistics. Okay. So if we understand statistics well, if we get that language of statistics going very well, and we understand these concepts very well, okay, I'm going to be quizzing every one of you, by the way. Each one of you, I'm going to be asking you to create proper presentations on these concepts: dimensional reduction, feature selection, regularization. I want you to be creating presentations. I want you to be able to present it. Figure out your tools. This will be about 2 months down the line, 2 or 3 months down the line. Okay. I want you to start preparing for the presentations. I hope everybody is clear, because if you can do this, your interview is done. You will get through the job as a data scientist. But these are also very complex concepts. They don't just come to you overnight. You have to spend some time thinking. Okay, there is a lot of thinking that happens in this course. So once the concept comes, you have to repeat that concept a few times until you kind of get a little part of it. But then you have to kind of think what happens in this kind of scenario, what happens in that kind of scenario. Data science kind of expects you to think. Sit down, without a pen and paper, just run your mind through it. Sit down for like 5 minutes and kind of daydream about it. That is a very important aspect of this course material. You should spend certain time just thinking about it, asking questions, run mental experiments and kind of see how those things pan out, all of that. That is a very important aspect of being a scientist. Scientists spend a lot of time thinking. So if you're going to be a data scientist, you should spend some time thinking. Fair enough?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. The problem is that, in our education system, we don't give enough emphasis on thinking. Nobody just asks you a question and say, what do you feel about it? How do you think about it? What are your opinions about it? Okay. If you were to solve this problem, how would you have gone about it? Nobody really asks these questions. But those are the main thing, those are the main skills required out there in the market. Okay. So you have to, when you are confronted with the problem, you have to say, what is the information I can get about it? Can I talk to somebody? Is there some data I can collect? Is there some kind of a statistical analysis I can do? Is there some kind of an analysis I can do in order to highlight the problem? Can I just visualize it? If I can visualize it, maybe I can see some kind of a trend. Then I can test out that trend and see if I'm correct or not. Okay. So these are all the things that we have to. There is a process to the whole thing. Okay. In fact, it is called the analytics life cycle. So there is this process that we kind of go through and we understand things. So these are the top topics that we're going to be covering. Any questions on this?
So what are the libraries you are going to learn in Python?
Python. Okay, so let me just go over here. So first part is in Python programming. I hope everybody is taking notes. Someday suddenly I will ask you to take pictures of your notes and send it to me. I am going to be very serious. This is not something that I take lightly. I want you to take copious notes. I want to see how your notes are developing over time also. So I want you to make good notes. I want to see handwriting, no typing or anything. Okay, I will be able to tell if people are faking it. I hope everybody is taking notes. That is a very, very serious thing that I take, because taking notes is one of the main skills that you need in a job. There is a meeting happening, you must be able to take notes. In the future, there are already Gen AI tools which are taking notes for you. That is going to create a huge problem, because people are not going to be paying attention to the meetings. They will rely on the AI. They will miss out on details. They will stop asking questions. The people who will continue to take notes despite the Gen AI tools, they are the ones who will be successful. So I want you to do the same thing. Okay. We will talk about what AI is, how much I should use it, how much I should not use it. We will have those discussions. But I want you in this class to take notes properly. Okay. Suddenly one day I will put you a message saying, please send your pics of your notes. So start it from today. Go through the recording, update your notes if you have to. But from starting on Wednesday, I want you to be very, very thorough with your notes. Okay. So Python programming, we start with core Python. This is the standard Python programming. If you have taken any Python course before, you would have gone through the core Python programming. It's very simple. Functions, exception handling, all of those things we will kind of cover it. Core Python programming remains the same irrespective of what you want to build with it. Second part, core Python के बाद we have NumPy and Pandas. So this is the data science part. NumPy, Pandas. Pretty much everybody needs NumPy and Pandas. Without that, you cannot really do a lot of programming in Python, at least not useful programming. Core Python does not give you enough, tools to kind of do these things. NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib. Matplotlib and Seaborn are for These are for data visualization. They are Viz tools. Okay. And I will also cover SciPy. I will also cover stats models. I will also cover something called SciPy stats models. There are these ARIMA models. Okay, so those are the things. Then when actually ARIMA models not here, they will come a little later. Then we have for machine learning, we have scikit-learn, we have TensorFlow. I usually work on PyTorch, but TensorFlow also I will give you some basic understanding. Scikit-learn, TensorFlow, PyTorch. There is one more library that I'm missing. Just give me 1 minute. It's called SymPy. It's called SymPy, symbolic pi. Okay. Then we will also do TensorFlow, PyTorch, SymPy, and also your TSA, time series analysis. There is one library for it. TSA tools or something like that. Okay. Then we also have natural language toolkit, and we have Spacy. These are for natural language. SymPy for calculus. These are for deep learning. This is for time series. TSA also contains ARIMA. Okay. So scikit-learn, TensorFlow, PyTorch, SymPy, TSA, NLTK, Spacy, anything else I'm missing. So that would be part of our machine learning part. So all of this part will be ML model building. What else? Deep learning ho gaya, ye ho gaya. I think this is all that we need. Python programming, these are the main things that we will cover. If I'm missing anything, I will let you know. Okay?
Yes, sir.
So in this, the essential parts are this one is essential, NumPy Pandas is essential, scikit-learn is essential, Space is essential, stats models is essentials, Matplotlib and Seaborn is essential. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 libraries which I deem necessary. The rest of them are good to know. Not everybody gets good at PyTorch. PyTorch gets complicated, and there is little need for it. The problem is that PyTorch is very necessary. It is important because if you want to do image recognition models, right? So if you want to do build something like Google Lens or something, you cannot do it with scikit-learn. You have to use PyTorch or TensorFlow. Just that it kind of gets complex at that point, and most of that work is being done with GenAI already. So I would rather focus on GenAI than this one. Okay. And I will
Okay.
also ask people if we can get a subscription for GenAI 4.0, ChatGPT 4.0, so that everybody gets a chance to kind of work upon it. It is a little expensive. I don't expect you to get your own subscription. There are other ways around it. We will also look at Gemini, the paid version, Llama 3. Hopefully, it will be there by the time we get to GenAI. Llama 3 currently is not available in India. So we will focus on that too. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Hello.
Yeah.
Sir, how Gen AI is different from AI? Is it the application of AI or is it something else?
They call it Gen AI because it generates. It generates content. It is
Okay.
generative AI.
Mhm.
What is the question again?
Like,
Gen AI?
we will be dealing with codes or is it the application part of AI? Like,
Just the application. None of us can create a generative AI model. That
okay.
is a huge project. They invested hundreds of billions of dollars to build it. You and I cannot build it at home. Yes?
Yes, sir.
So we have to use it for other applications. We have to use it for everyday work. In fact, that is actually my day job. I go around trying to tell people how to use Gen AI for everyday tasks.
Yeah. Okay, sir.
Okay?
Yeah. Thank you,
And
sir.
again, generative AI is going to significantly solve a lot of our problems. So that's I'll will do it as much as possible, but there isn't much to kind of do a course on it. Anybody can finish that course in about 2 to 3 hours. So maybe two classes for us, and you will get to know why there is generative AI. But I will tell it at the end, because if I tell it now, then there is simply no point to this entire course. Okay, but I want you to understand all of these concepts first, and then understand how Gen AI is doing all of these things. Okay, but that is the most important part of the course. Generative AI is the most important part of the course, and that is what you will be doing for the rest of your lives. Okay,
Yes,
any
sir.
other questions?
So what is the difference between business analytics and data science?
Business analytics and data science. So technically, there is no difference, but data science is so a data scientist. Okay, so whenever you say a word scientist, right? The word scientist basically comes when you have a PhD. So, a person who has a PhD is usually deemed a scientist. So, the idea was, and when you're doing a PhD, you do a couple of courses on statistics. You have a very deep understanding of how to analyze data. So, you can kind of do something new with it. So, when the word data scientist kind of came by, right, most of those people happen to be mathematics and statistics PhDs. The reason they were called data scientists were because they had math or computer science or statistics PhDs. Okay, so that is where the term came by. Business analysts have always existed. Business analysts are basically your modern day clerks. So you are taking your Excel sheets, you're creating reports on it, you're making presentations on it, you're creating data visualizations on it, you're running some SQL queries and all of that. All of that put together is basically business analytics. Business analytics is any analytics that you do to help out the business. So now, is there no overlap? There is a significant overlap. You cannot get to so things such as image recognition or natural language processing without having a good understanding of statistics and machine learning. Okay, so it is a difficult question to answer in general. So data science, if you ask me, is everything. Business analytics is BI, business intelligence. So the
Can you
what
say it's a subset of data science?
uh
Can you say business analytics is a subset of data science?
it is definitely it is a subset of data science, because data science is everything. Everything that has anything to do with data science. So basically, all of science is data science, right? There is no science without using data. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes. Yes,
There is
yes.
no science without doing data, right? You have to run experiments, you have to collect data, you have to create a hypothesis, you have to build a model. That is what all of science is. So when we say data science, we basically mean science, both social science and natural sciences, right? So natural sciences is your physics, chemistry, biology, mathematics. Your social sciences, your history, archaeology, psychology, all of these things put together. Both of these things have to use data in order to kind of create something, right? There is no economics without data analysis. There is no economics without statistics. No history, no psychology. None of these things work without statistics. So data science is everything. All of science is data science. Business analytics is where can you use all of these tools to help a business. What are the things that I need to help a business? I need data visualization. I need some basic SQL queries and processing. I need some Excel tools. I need some PowerPoint tools, those kind of things. Basically, I should be able to tell a story, some data visualization, some programming, some querying, and some statistics. With that, you can run most businesses. You don't need very advanced scientific models to kind of run any business. Most businesses run with these kind of basic mathematics, right? So that is where we are. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
You don't seem very satisfied.
Yes, sir. I'm satisfied.
Okay, so that is all that I have for today. Any other questions?
Sir, data analytics is different from data science.
No, analytics basically means analysis with a predictive component. So you're taking data, you're doing some analysis, okay, and you're making some kind of a prediction with that. You can create a model and you can say if this is the scenario, then this will be the output. If you can do that, that is analytics. Analytics can be very, very simple. It can be as complex as you want. There is no difference between data and data science and data analytics. Everything is analytics. Is the usage of these tools, statistical tools, mathematical tools, to be able to make some insights, generate some insights. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So don't get bogged down by terminology and all of that. Don't worry too much about it. It's all going to be very simple. Okay? On a daily basis, what I want you to focus on is the class, what we covered in that class. Okay, so if you start thinking about what the entire course is, you will get overwhelmed. That is too much information for you to take, right? If you're
Yeah.
constantly thinking about all of that, it will be a problem. Okay, so I don't want you to worry too much about what is going to happen, but the thing that you have to focus on, that you will always miss out. What was today's class on? Have I finished my notes? Was there any assignment given? Have I finished that assignment? I want you to focus on that part more. That should be 95, 98% of your time. 1%, 2% might be about the future. So stay in the present, focus on the tasks at hand. I want you to build some habits. That is more valuable than knowing some one or two pieces about something that we might never do. Okay? The day you hit a job, you should be ready to go. You know exactly what you're doing. Okay? Everybody will appreciate you within 6 months. They will not wait for 6 months to kind of make you permanent. They already know that this is a person who has good attitude, this is a trustworthy person, this is a team player. Those are the skills, those are the things that people will talk about to other people also. Right? So if I have to recommend somebody from my team to somebody else, I would say this person is very trustworthy. He is always punctual. Um, he works very well. His technical skills are also good. And the other person, I would not quite recommend it because he doesn't have the right habits. You get it? People build up notions about yourself, don't they? They have opinions about you, right? शर्मा जी का बच्चा अच्छा है, उसका बच्चा अच्छा नहीं है. Some opinions are justified, some opinions are not justified. That's a different thing. But people build opinions about you, and those opinions matter in a business environment. Yes or no? Because everybody is trying to do the best for themselves. They will take all the help that they can. You should be the person that others can trust. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Data science is just one of the tools that you need. That is not the only tool that you need. There are so many successful people who have zero idea about statistics. Yes or no? Because the tools for success are different. And that is also one of the things that nobody talks about. That is a very sad situation. We don't talk about it in school. We don't talk about it at home, right? At home, even our parents, I mean, they are actually working, right? They know all of these things. Why don't they talk about these things? They only say things like be honest, be truthful, those kind of things. But they don't give you everything in a proper context. Even our teachers don't do that. I don't know why. There are no courses about this in universities. There are no courses about this even in MBA colleges. Most MBA colleges do not talk about how to run an office. What are you teaching them? Right? That is why people struggle so much when they join a job. Their first job, people don't know why there is a job, what is the point of all of that. And we always struggle with that. Yes or no?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
yes.
So when we get into a job, what are the main tasks that I do on a daily basis? The main things are I have to first go through my emails, okay, answer some of the emails that I can. The others I will say that I will get back to you. I may have to do some data analysis or something. I might have to gather some data. I may have to create a deck. I may have to create a small Excel sheet. Based on that, these are the questions that you ask, these are the answers that I have. That is what happens in a job, right? Yes, then we have a meeting. In the meeting, we talk about certain outcomes. What can we do about it? You think about the data and you say something, somebody will say something else, you have a little debate, and then you come out with certain outcomes. That is what happens in a meeting, right? The reason why people say there are so many unnecessary meetings is because they don't know why the meeting was actually put in place. You get it? We have heard people talk about unnecessary meetings, right?
Yes,
Oh, this
sir.
meeting is so boring. People are just not even paying attention on the meeting. If you are not paying attention on the meeting, you should not even be on the meeting. But if you're on the meeting, try to get the most out of it, right? So this is almost always an attitude issue than anything else. Just 1 minute. So it's almost always an attitude issue. We have to have very clear understanding of what we want to do and how we do it. So it all boils down to certain basic things such as communication skills, building relationships, networking, those kind of things, presentation skills, soft skills. If we have this, all the additional skills are are amplified. Your data science skills will get amplified if you also have networking, communication, all of these things, data visualization. Those things become important. Okay. So we'll have by the end of the course, I want you to have a very good attitude towards what a job is, why we are doing that job, because I don't want you to do any job which is absolutely pointless. If you're going to a meeting for the rest of your life, you will go prepared. Either you will go prepared or you will say, please move the meeting. Or you will say, I don't think I'm needed on this meeting. Please remove me from this. I won't be attending it. It should be like that, isn't it? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Right? So that should become our attitude. If you are that kind of a person, everybody else will like you and the opportunities will come knocking. Get it? So you are a person who can be relied upon. You are a person who is a team player. When there is an issue, people will think of you. If that is a reputation that you can build, that's it. Your career is done. From there on, you will get more opportunities. If there are enough people who think, okay, this person must be identified, this person can help us. The day you get that reputation, that's it. You have built a career. And when you get to that point, the money will come in. Aram se. Because people will pay to have you on their team, isn't it? And trust
Yes,
me, a
sir.
lot of people who have those skills are not necessarily the most tech savvy people. They are not the ones who came from big colleges. They are people who are just grounded. They understand the seriousness. They take their job seriously. That is it. I told you, right? My boss at Dell, he was a commerce graduate. He did not do anything more than that. But he worked in a couple of industries and he did very well at each job and he's doing extremely well at Dell. Imagine at Dell, which is a very, very technical company which sells very high-end servers and storage. He doesn't have an engineering degree. He doesn't understand the technology. If somebody has to, if he has to explain somebody about what your new Dell systems are, he won't be able to explain that. But he knows everything about the market. He knows everything about the customers. You get it? The storage systems are very complex. You need very advanced computer science degrees to understand how those things work. But he understands how they can be used in business. He knows that part. Simple commerce degree, and he has built a career. But it took 25 years. But at the end of that, he is doing extremely well. He's one of the top senior leaderships in Dell in the country. Right? So that is what I want you to kind of focus on. Okay? I think I have taken enough of your time. Please update your notes every single day. Get a new notebook. Okay? Get a new notebook. Get a nice one which you can be proud of. This is something that you will build. And at the end, when you go through those notebooks, right, you should feel proud of yourself that these are the notes that I have created. Okay?
Yes,
Do I
sir.
have everybody's attention? Yeah. Be proud of the work that you're doing every single day. That is where the sense of accomplishment will come, and that will also kind of drive you to attend the next class. If you're not doing this, you will eventually say that you're the boring children, I'm not learning anything, forget about it, not going to happen. I don't want you to get to that point. That is what is happening for most people. I want you to be in the top 0.7%, not in the bottom 99.3%. Fair enough?
Definitely.
So mentally prepare yourself. It is a long journey that we are on. A lot of things, or many of the classes will be very, very routine, very normal stuff going on. Every once in a while, there will be a tough topic. Okay, but be prepared. Sleep early, wake up on time, be fresh, sit with a pen and paper. Come energized. If you have to do 10 push-ups or something and be ready for it, please do that. Okay, be active, be responsive, be responsible in the entire class. Okay, that is how we build careers over time. And this is something that I will continue to repeat because this is the important stuff. How to build careers is more important than learning one skill. All right.
Yes,
And
sir.
unlike other people, I'm not going to just give you GAN, I'm going to give you specifics. How to be that. Okay. I'm not going to say be a team player. I will say these are the 5 things that you should do so that you become a team player. I believe in specifics, but I also understand the importance of these things. Okay. All right. Chalo. See you all on Wednesday. Wednesday 6:30. Wednesday would be 19th, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. 19th 6:30 same time. We will start off with statistics and we will go through Excel. I am sure some of you might want a little refresher in Excel also, right? So we'll understand Excel, how to use Excel sheets and all of that because we'll be using Excel sheets a lot. We'll start off with that one. Okay? Chalo. Bye.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.